Hi, my name is Jacquice Jones. I am a doctoral candidate in Baylor University's EDD Learning and Organizational Change program. Today, I will be presenting my problem of practice defense. The title of my research study is Beyond the Numbers, a qualitative holistic case study examining special education teacher attrition from voices who left the classroom in Greater Houston. My faculty advisor is Dr. Jessica Meehan. In today's presentation, I'll begin with my problem statement, provide a brief overview of the literature review, and move to the purpose statement and research question. Next, I'll discuss the theoretical framework and provide detailed information about the methodology. I will also provide an overview of my research findings and discuss how the findings of this study are connected to existing literature. Afterwards, I'll present the implications and recommendations along with the limitations for this study. I'll conclude with providing an overview of the distribution plan. Problem statement. The problem statement highlights the urgency and is the why behind the study. While the demand for special education teachers has increased over the years, the supply of qualified special education teachers has not kept pace. Bettini and Gilmore, 2024, jeopardizing the future academic and social success of countless neurodivergent students. The attrition of special education teachers is not just a staffing issue, but a crisis that directly influences the lives of neurodivergent students, the teachers who serve them, and the stability of the entire educational system. Billingsley and Bettini, 2019, and Carver, Thomas, and Darling Hammond, 2017. The state of Texas mirrors this national crisis with growing attrition rates and immense challenges in retaining qualified special education teachers. Overview of the literature review. My literature review focused on 4 areas. First, to establish clear terminology, I focused on providing definitions and characteristics of types of teacher attrition and retention. Second, I discussed consequences of teacher attrition that are discussed in current scholarly literature. Third, I highlight contributing factors that existing literature cites as influencing teacher attrition. And finally, I dive deeper into previous literature that focused on improving teacher retention, which offer practical solutions for mitigating teacher attrition. This table summarizes the 4 sections of my literature review. First, I began by defining what teacher attrition means, including voluntary and involuntary attrition and migration. I also defined teacher retention. Researchers like Billingsley, Ingersoll, and others highlighted that attrition is a complex systemic issue that is directly tied to the supply and demand in education. Second, I examined the consequences of attrition and how it affects neurodivergent students. Research studies conducted by Runfeld et al. And Sorensen and Ladd show that frequent teacher attrition leads to instability, reduced instructional quality, and financial strain for schools. Third, I focused on why teachers leave, discussing contributing factors that lead to teachers leaving the classroom. Researchers such as Allo et al. And Garcia and Weiss each articulated how burnout, heavy workload, inadequate support systems, and dissatisfaction with compensation are all variables that lead to teacher attrition. Fourth, I reviewed evidence-based strategies to improve retention, such as strong administrative support, formal mentorship programs, and manageable workloads, as evidenced by scholars like Billingsley, Bettini, and Pulowski. Together, these sections provided the foundation for understanding the broader context of teacher attrition and informed my study's focus on the lived experiences of former special education teachers who left the classroom in the Houston area. Purpose statement and research question. By contextualizing the issue of special education teacher attrition, I was able to frame a purpose statement and research question that addresses the what. What is this study about? The purpose of this qualitative, holistic single case study was to explore how social, ecological factors contribute to special education teachers' decision to leave the classroom in the Houston area. There was one research question for this study, which is how do social ecological factors contribute to special education teachers' decision to leave the classroom in Greater Houston? Theoretical framework. I chose Bronfenbrenner's 1979 ecological systems theory as the lens for this study, which views human development within multiple layers of influence. This framework included 5 ecological systems or a priori categories, which include the microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and chronosystem. The microsystem includes immediate relationships, direct interactions, such as between the special education teacher and their supervisor, or the special education teacher and their student. The mesosystem comprises one or more microsystems. So, for example, this may be the special education teacher in a conference that includes parents as well as someone from their administrative leadership team. The exosystem encompasses broader environments that may indirectly affect the teacher, such as district or campus policies. The macrosystem includes broader cultural values or norms, such as the norms that exist on a campus. And the chronosystem refers to the influence of time, life transitions. So, by looking at the problem through Bronfenbrenner's 1979 ecological systems theory, I was able to capture the layered and systemic nature of teacher attrition. Methodology. For this research study, I chose a qualitative, holistic single case study, which allowed me to capture the complexity of special education teacher attrition through multiple data sources. Moving to the top right, my site selection and participants. I chose the Greater Houston area, specifically within Harris County. Former special education teachers, there were 4 selected for participation in this study. And of those special educators, I was specifically looking for individuals who left the classroom between 2019 and 2024. In the bottom right, I collected data through semi-structured interviews, focus groups, and I also provided follow-up questionnaires to 2 participants. And finally, in the bottom left, I analyzed the data by reviewing transcripts, hand coding, Excel, and using in vivo software to support coding and analysis. From there, I developed codes, categories, and ultimately thematic statements. Together, this design, site, data collection, and data analysis provided a comprehensive picture of why special education teachers are leaving the classroom. Site and participants. The gears represent how the study was bound by location, participants, and timing, all working together to provide a contextualized understanding of special education teacher attrition. The participants included 4 former special education teachers, all of whom had left the classroom in the Greater Houston area between 2019 and 2024. Each participant was a unit of analysis which formed one case. Overview of findings. The research findings in this study revealed 3 thematic statements. The first thematic statement represents the integration of the microsystem and mesosystem. Participants described relying on the direct support of supervisors as well as collegial support to manage the complexity of their roles. The findings of this study underscore the profound influence that both the presence and absence of support had on these former special education teachers. The second thematic statement represents the exosystem. Participants reflected on how the degree to which they felt supported at the institutional level influenced their job satisfaction. The findings show that each participant's perception of the quality of institutional support structures shaped their level of satisfaction in their roles. And the third thematic statement represents an integration of the macrosystem and chronosystem. While each participant contributed to this theme, they each faced different challenges. Collectively, the participants illustrated how persistent challenges across broader institutional systems and the influence of time influenced their decision to leave the classroom. Findings and literature review connections. Theme 1 highlighted that support, or the absence of it, shaped these participants' ability to manage their roles as special education teachers. This finding confirms Bland et al. 2023, who underscored that supervisors play a key role in shaping organizational structures and cultural norms, which directly influence teachers' ability to thrive in their educational setting. Theme 2 showed that participants' job satisfaction was tied to the degree to which they felt institutional support. This finding aligns with Darling Hammond et al. 2017, who emphasized that high-quality professional development directly improves teaching practices and student outcomes. And Theme 3 revealed that each participant had a culmination of challenges over time that led to their decision to leave the classroom. This finding directly connects with Bettini et al. 2020, who emphasized that the absence of acknowledgement and respect diminishes special education teachers' job satisfaction, which contributes to attrition. Implications and recommendations. So why does this study matter going forward? My study has implications and recommendations for 3 key decision makers, focusing on practice, preparation, and policy, as well as recommendations for future research. Direct supervisors. Direct supervisors must take a more active and intentional role in shaping the daily experiences of special education teachers. College and university teacher preparation programs. These teacher preparation programs should strengthen their curriculum to include intensive training that is specifically focused on the needs of special education teachers. Policymakers. To address challenges with professional development, I recommend that policymakers advocate for the design and implementation of professional development that is both relevant and sensitive to teachers' time constraints. I have 4 recommendations for future research, including analyzing best practices for direct supervision, evaluating how colleges and university teacher preparation programs can strengthen the teacher pipeline, examining the effectiveness of leveraging technology to deliver more flexible professional development and targeted training for special education teachers, and researching innovative methods for collecting and analyzing data from current and former special education teachers regarding their experiences within the classroom and the broader educational context. Limitations. As with all studies, there are limitations. In this study, there were 3. The sample size is small, with only 4 participants, so the findings may not generalize beyond the Greater Houston context. I also relied on the self-report of participants for data, which may carry bias. And my positionality as a former school administrator may have influenced my interpretation of the data. Despite these limitations, the narratives provide rich insights into special education teacher attrition in the Greater Houston area. Overview of distribution plan. To engage with the 3 key decision makers who can implement effective solutions to address special education teacher attrition, I plan to distribute key findings and recommendations within industry journal publications and present at conferences. I also intend to present key findings to teacher preparation programs within the state of Texas and sharing findings with key advocacy organizations. Thank you for learning about my problem of practice.